again. Hopefully the sound quality will be fairly decent. I'm really tired, so if I suddenly stop to think, my mind's just processing stuff, but this video, as it's going to read in the title, will be on universal time, and how one of my theories relates to it. So I want to go over first on the modern physicist concept of time. Well, what is time? Time is essentially the process by which things happen. Einstein said that the reason for time is so all things do not occur at one time. A very famous quote. I love that quote. Like him. Like Einstein. Einstein's a great guy. Kind of, had a little bit of special moments, but hey, everyone does. Well, let's see. There are a couple theories on time. One of which is straight line. As in, here's time, space, everything. It all happens straight line, nothing can affect it. You can't go back in time, get forward time, no effects that way. Rather interesting way of looking at it, I suppose. There's also another one. And don't quote me on this, I'm not entirely sure. Actually, I have to research this for a project. But I believe it's within the string theory that this one occurs, and this relates to alternate dimensions, alternate realities, etc. But this theory says essentially that here's a point in time. Every atomic effect that occurs from there can be altered and alter our time scale. Would you not agree that simply squashing a bug, butterfly effect, occurs and affects time overall long distance? You've seen a lot of sci-fi things. Well, essentially, here's what we have now. And then the possibility of another, of one way an atom can move, an electron inside of an atom can move, would split it. And essentially keeps splitting, goes down, affecting different things. And that forms alternate realities, etc. And these would, alternate realities, essentially, if the time was different at the very beginning, could form another dimension and another way. And I'm not going to get into dimensional ideas, planes, sub, etc. But that's the way. That's one of the theories. I have to say that there's a couple different things within time space that's fairly interesting. One of the ideas I've had is essentially that time works kind of like a wave. Now, this is going off of an idea that Nikola Tesla had, a very famous guy. You may believe me, you may not, but it's a fact that the government took his notes. Every single last one of them. Reviewed them for several years, and then released them. Interesting. Are some of the notes missing? I would say yes, personally. Hold on. Alright, gotta love multitasking. Alright. So, I said that universal wavelengths could play a part within time. Hold on. Within universal wavelengths. Because time, for me, personally, seems like it moves up and down. Like a wave. And Nikola Tesla said that all things in the universe have a certain wave, a certain frequency. This is called the universal frequency. This can be proven as an example within the tuning fork. You hit the tuning fork against something, the wave echoes throughout. Another one can be proven within the glass. You take a crystal glass. Crystal is a very fine thing. If you want to know things about it, there's a lot of interesting things on crystal. But you take crystal glass, you hit it against something, you record it. It will continue to resonate, and if you continue to resonate that sound, it will shatter, because the waves will go through glass and the atomic matter will not atomic matter, well, I suppose, but it will self-vibrate and then break. magnetism can be sent through waves. Nikola Tesla ran a couple of experiments, and they can still do this today, where he essentially held a light bulb in his hand, and there was wavelengths. There was enough electricity in the air that powered the light bulb just by holding it in his hand, and he didn't electrocute himself. Quite interesting. Um, let's see. So basically, the universe, time itself, has a wave. A wave. And this can be felt by biological electromagnetic field. This can also be called aura or chi, depending upon how you want to say it. But biological magnetic field is a scientific term for the electromagnetic field by which we feel around our human body. This plays an effect in multiple things. Now, they've proven this, they have photographs, however, it's not exactly the most commonly seen proof of a lot of things because occultist ideas, a lot of, I'd say, pagan witch ideas, Eastern Tai Chi channeling is proven very valid by this point because they knew about it and they've been using this for thousands upon thousands of years. It's a very crucial thing to know if you're actually going to be involved in it. However, they don't exactly release it as commonly. If you research it, they actually have photographs of this biological electromagnetic field. But essentially, if wave occurs within time, you would be able to see essentially the way that the universe, or you would be able to feel it within your biological magnetic field. Now, this can be seen as perspective, observation thing, okay? But if you do like a different surveys, which I have done on occasion, some very interesting results, where essentially think back on a month that has occurred. Okay, think back. Now, did that month seem longer or shorter to you than normal? Do people around you that were, or people that you didn't even know, have similar experiences? Sometimes months will go wrong with the usual schedule, what one might define as the usual schedule. Essentially, if time does this wave effect, um, there is no usual, but where you wouldn't have felt it as much. And you'll come up with some very interesting things. Let me see. What was I going to get to? Bloody hell. Oh, if you were going, one way that you could prove this, and technologically we don't have the ability right now to do it, but essentially take a stopwatch, place it in space with absolutely no forces acting on it. Because according to Einstein's law, which has proven itself very accurately, that E equals mc squared. Essentially, we cannot pass the speed of light. So, if we cannot pass the speed of light, if we cannot exceed that point, and time slows down because of that, then wouldn't something with no velocity, placed in space, and timed for a minute, give us insight? It would essentially be, when it comes to space travel, it would be the required standard by which all things in time could be measured. Because if you could calculate the velocity that a planet, a spaceship, has in any one given direction, total velocity, everything, which they can do. I mean, if you're a physicist, that's child's play. They say it, and I'm in physics, and I'm figuring it out. Well, okay, I don't think it's exactly child's play, because come to think of it, but you can figure it out. And you'd be able to figure out the time scale by which all things were occurring in time and space, in our planet, in our part of galaxy, just by figuring out the forces acting on it. It's a very important thing to know. But another way that I would prove or disprove my theory, which, I mean, hell, it could be wrong. It could be something just observation, crazy up here, etc. But you could essentially prove it because if the time watch one way was affected to be faster when no force is acting on it, no velocity whatsoever, was to be slower comparative to another time that was set exactly the same part or put into a different part of space. Wouldn't that be an irony? So, anyway, that's my idea on it. And the question is, how would you prove it? You basically take a spaceship traveling at constant speed in a set area. And if either results, whether the stopwatch was off or whether the spaceship was off, traveling at the same velocity, I mean, either way, it would prove that my theory of time working as sort of a wave length itself accurate. I mean, things can be seen very interesting within waves. So who knows? I mean, I could be wrong, and hell, if I'm wrong, prove it to me, please. Please prove it to me, because I would like to know these things. I mean, that's the way it goes. So anyway, thank you. I'm Ben. Peace out.